Hello, and welcome to English for Restaurant Workers, the video workshop that teaches you phrases and vocabulary you can use to better accommodate English-speaking patrons in your restaurant. My name is Rafaelli, and I am your teacher today. Thank you for tuning in and feel very welcome. Let's learn together. If you just dropped in this video randomly, first of all, welcome. This is the second of our 5-class workshop. On the screen, you'll be seeing a card that can bring you right to our previous lesson when we reviewed common greetings, expressions of courtesy like thank you, you're welcome, excuse me, I'm sorry, personal titles, and expressions you can use to welcome and accommodate the customers to your restaurant. So be sure to check out that video before joining us in today's class. Now, considering that you've watched the last video, let's get ready to start a second lesson. In this video, we will be a bit more focused on the vocabulary of things that are present in the restaurant. That is, parts of the restaurant, furniture, ingredients you may use, cutlery, and beverages. But besides that, we will learn when each vocabulary can show up in common conversation. I'll repeat here something I have said last class. I highly encourage you to repeat at home the expressions I am exploring with you and test your pronunciation. You're free to rewind, go forward, pause, and resume as much as you want, so take advantage of these tools to help you learn better. If you take a look in the description below, you'll find a PDF file with the additional material on what we are going to see today. So without further ado, let's start with today's class. First of all, let's talk about your workplace. Many people work in your restaurant and it is important to know their occupations. Be aware that this is very general and you can have less staff if you have a smaller restaurant. First, you have the manager or gerente. He or she is responsible of taking care of business in the restaurant, making sure everybody gets paid, the bills are paid, and they do everything to attract new customers. The manager is not necessarily the owner of the restaurant, but someone that the owner put in charge to take care of it. The assistant manager, or subgerente, is there to assist the first manager and take care of things when he or she is not around. After that, we meet the people that the customers talk to. The first person they meet is probably the host or the hostess. He or she is there to welcome people to the restaurant and lead them to their tables. Host is for men, anfitrião, while hostess is for women, anfitriã. Fancier restaurants, 5-star restaurants, may use the name maitre d', but the position is the same. After that, we have the people that bring the food and beverages to the customers. The waiter, male, garçon, or waitress for women, garçonete. They will also take their orders and help the customers with whatever they need. The person that is in charge of preparing drinks and serving beverages in the bar is called bartender. This is the neutral term for both men and women. A male bartender is called a barman, while a female bartender is called barwoman. Another very important person to mention is the cashier, who will take care of the payment. People that work away from the customers include the chef, the person that prepares the food, and the cleaners, who clean the place when it's closed. Again, these are all general terms. Some restaurants may have more, others may have less. In some cases, like in Japanese restaurants, the chef is called a sushi man. The restaurant is divided in many different sections. Here we have a list of common parts of the restaurant, but be aware that this is very standard. You may or may not have some of these in your workplace. We first have the entrance, where customers come in and out. Beyond that, this restaurant has also a waiting area or lounge. This area has many couches or chairs and is where your customers will wait to be served if your restaurant is full, but also can be a place to stay before leaving. Near the waiting area, some restaurants also have a bar. This is where people can go to ask for drinks or beverages in general while they wait. Here we also find the cashier. Cashier is the person that takes care of the cash register, that is, the place where people go to pay for their meals. Some places can also have a cloakroom. Cloakroom. A place where people's coats, hats, and umbrellas can be stored. This may not be common in some restaurants where customers will bring their coats to the table. The reception is normally where the host or hostess will stay to welcome the customers. Most of the restaurant consists of the dining area, that is, the place where customers go to eat their food. There, we can find many chairs and tables. Casual restaurants may also have booths, which are seating areas with a table between two big chairs or couches. On the side, you can also find the restrooms. On the back, we can also find the kitchen, where food is prepared. Some restaurants may have two of them: the hot kitchen, where dishes that need to be cooked are prepared, and the cold kitchen is destined to serve salads, cold desserts, and cakes. The pantry is where all ingredients are kept. To close this section of our class, let me remind you that different restaurants will have different settings. Some may have all of these sections, and some may not have one or the other. Again, those are the entrance, waiting area, bar, cashier, cloakroom, reception, dining area, hot kitchen, cold kitchen, pantry. In a common restaurant, you have a bunch of utensils. The most common ones are the classic spoon, meaning colher, fork, meaning garfo, and knife, meaning faca. There is, of course, many other types of these three utensils for many different purposes. For simplicity, and so that this video is not an hour long, we are going to cover some of the basics. For spoons, you have the three main ones, which are the tablespoon, or colher de sopa, used mostly for soups, the teaspoon, or colher de chá, used to stir coffee or tea, and the smallest one, the dessert spoon, or colher de sobremesa, for, you guessed it, desserts. For forks, you have the common table fork, this one, the regular one, and you may also have the dessert fork, which is the smaller one, which is called garfo de sobremesa in Portuguese, which is great for eating cake, for example. For knives, there are the common table knife and the steak knife, or faca de carne, which is used by the waiter to serve meat on barbecues. But there is also the type of restaurant that does not use our common cutlery, like Japanese restaurants that use hashish. When we talk about drinking vessels, the things we use to drink, we have mostly two kinds: glasses and cups. And here we must make some distinctions for our Brazilian students. Cup is a word that is very similar to the Portuguese copo, and we use copo for the most types of beverage containers we drink from. For example, copo de plástico, copo de vidro. However, be aware that cup in English refers to what we call in Portuguese xícara, where we drink our tea and our coffee. Glass literally means vidro, but in the English language it also means any drinking vessel made of glass. A glass of water, a glass of wine, a glass of beer. That is the main distinction that us Brazilians must have in mind. Copos feitos de vidro are glasses. Cups are xícaras, copos feitos de outros materiais que não são vidro, such as plastic, for example. Next up, meals and ingredients. In this section, we will learn the names of the meals, that is, the food items that restaurants commonly serve, as well as the ingredients. The ingredients are foods that are used in a meal or a recipe. Many restaurants, especially a la carte restaurants, offer their dishes following a certain sequence. We have appetizers, main courses, or entrees, side dishes, and desserts. Pay attention now, we're going one by one. First, we have the appetizers, or in Portuguese, entradas, which are the first things that are served in order to not keep the customer too hungry and open their appetite. Examples can include French fries, bruschetta, and garlic bread. After that, the customer has the main course, or entree. In Portuguese, prato principal. It is the main meal served, which can be pasta or any type of meat. There are three main types of meat. The first one is red meat, which includes beef, which is meat that comes from cows, veal, then meat that comes from cows, lamb, meat that comes from young sheep, and pork, which comes from pigs. We also have seafood. As the name itself says, it comes from all animals from the sea or freshwater. Examples include salmon, sardine, trout, and tuna. You can also have shellfish, which includes shrimp, lobster, crab, and oysters. Finally, restaurants can also serve poultry, which are animals such as chicken, duck, and turkey. Served alongside the main course, restaurants also offer side dishes, or acompanhamentos. A side dish is a food item that is there as an alternative for customers to have while eating their meat or main plate. Examples normally include salads of all types and vegetables. When it comes to vegetables, you have hundreds of them. Here are some of the most common ones. Beetroot, bell pepper, broccoli, cabbage, carrot, cauliflower, corn, cucumber, eggplant, lettuce, mushroom, onion, potato, sweet potato, tomato, and zucchini. The last meal to be served in the restaurant is the dessert, or sobremesa, when the customer eats sweets. Here, we need to focus a bit on pronunciation. In the English language, you have a similar sounding word, which is desert. Desert is an arid place, full of sand where it rarely rains, like the Sahara Desert. You need to pay attention to the pronunciation to get the customer to understand the right word. The difference is mostly on the emphasis of the word. Dessert. Dessert, when you eat sweets. Desert. Desert, where it's hot. Some common foods you can eat for dessert are cake, ice cream, or fruit, for example. And this concludes the courses you can commonly have in the restaurant: appetizer, main course, side dish, and dessert. But teacher, you may say, this is not how I do it in my restaurant. And that is completely fair. There are many other ways that restaurants can work their selection of meals. Some are buffets, where people normally go to select their foods by themselves. A la carte places make the customer select the dishes they would like to have from the menu before they have it. And even in this type of restaurant, you can have more courses or less, depending on the demographic. High-class restaurants can have a lot of courses, while casual restaurants may have way less. My focus in this class is to present the general vocabulary present in the restaurants, but there are many types of restaurants as well. So if you have any doubts on how something could apply to your specific context, you can leave a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer them. The last group of words I would like to work with you guys today in this video is beverages. Simply put, they are everything liquid that is consumed in the restaurant. Before jumping on that vocabulary, let us learn about beverage containers, the objects where drinks are stored and sold in. We have the words can or tin, lata in Portuguese, for those beverages served on metal containers, like Coca-Cola. Many beverages are also sold in bottles, garrafas, be them made of plastic or glass. You can have a bottle of water the same way you can have a bottle of wine. To make it simple, I will divide beverages into 3 different types or categories: the non-alcoholic kind, the alcoholic kind, and the hot kind of beverages. First thing, you got your non-alcoholic beverages. This includes each and all drinks that does not contain alcohol and can be served to anyone regardless of their age. The first one that comes to mind is water. We need it to live and you can ask for it at the restaurant. But here is something that you may not know. There are 3 types of water that an English-speaking customer can ask you. Customer 1 comes to your restaurant and asks you, "Could I have some still water, please?" Still water is our clean and treated water that is served in a bottle. Here in Brazil, we call it água mineral or água sem gás, the type that comes in a bottle. Customer 2 shows up and asks, "I'll have some sparkling water, please." Sparkling water is the one with all the bubbles, which is carbonated. In Brazil, we call it água com gás, or água gasificada. It is also served in a bottle. Some people like it, but personally I find it disgusting. Don't judge me. Lastly, a customer can show up and ask for tap water. Tap is another name for the faucet, in Portuguese, torneira, where water is dispensed in your sink. Tap water is the one that comes directly from the faucet. Here in Brazil, our tap water is drinkable. That is, there's no problem of getting sick from drinking it. Some people, however, still prefer bottled water because they believe it is cleaner or more pure. So these are the 3 general types of water: sparkling, still, and tap water. Be noticed that, at least in Brazil, most restaurants will only serve bottled or sparkling water, either way served in a bottle. Other types of non-alcoholic beverages include juices, or sucos, which are made with the water found inside many types of fruit. Common fruits used for juices in Brazil include apple, guava, orange, watermelon, pineapple, lemon, or passion fruit. With juices, you can also have two options. Fresh juice is made with the fruit itself, while bottled juice may or may not include the juice of the fruit mixed with preservatives. How much preservative there is in bottled juice, if any at all, mostly depend on the brand you're buying. Finally, for non-alcoholic beverages, we have sodas, or refrigerantes in Portuguese. In the United States, they are often called soft drinks as well. Sodas are all carbonated, which means they all have bubbles and are made artificially. Your options include cola, which includes Coke, Pepsi, and many other brands. We know them in Brazil by the name refrigerante de cola. The most internationally known are also lemonade soda, limonada, and tonics, água tônica. Again, these are all full of sugar, so they are not very good for your health if you drink too much of it. The second type of beverages is hot beverages. They are also non-alcoholic, but what separates them from other non-alcoholic beverages is that they are served hot instead of cold. Hot beverages include coffee, café, tea, chá, and hot chocolate, chocolate quente. Pretty straightforward. Finally, we reach the alcoholic beverages. But before I start listing the types of alcoholic beverages, I'll make a quick remark about alcohol consumption. Different countries in the world have different rules in regards to alcohol consumption. Most, if not all of them, set what is called a legal drinking age. It is the minimum age someone is allowed to drink or to buy alcoholic beverages. The common age most countries agree to be the legal drinking age is 18, which means that offering alcohol to someone younger than that is punishable by law. There are, of course, multiple exceptions. In the United States, for example, you have to be 21 years old to be able to buy and consume alcohol. In Canada, most provinces set 19 as the legal drinking age. In the United Kingdom and Australia, the age is also 18. Anyway, depending on the country, it can range from 16 to 25. Some countries do not allow you to drink or sell alcohol at any age, perhaps due to being mostly conservative Muslim countries, and therefore their religion does not allow them to drink. Here in Brazil, the legal age to buy and drink alcohol is 18. If someone offers or sells alcohol to a minor, he or she can be punished with 2 to 4 years in prison and a fine. If a restaurant or any other establishment sells alcohol to a minor, they can be fined from 3 up to 10,000 reais, and the place will be shut down until the fine is paid. As a final comment, this minimum age for drinking exists because many studies have shown that teenagers and children who consume alcohol can suffer from negative effects on memory and long-term thinking. They can also suffer from liver failure, hormone imbalance in puberty, and can also be at a higher risk of injury. So, returning from that dark ending, I'll present to you the names of common alcoholic beverages. You have wine, vinho, which is made of fermented grapes. There are also different types of wine. The red wine, vinho tinto, the white wine, vinho branco, and the rosé, vinho rosé. There are also many different types of liquors, licores, cocktails, cocktails, and beers, cervejas. And this is the end of our second class. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you have learned a lot and enjoyed it as well. Let me know if you have any doubts, and I'll be happy to answer them in the comment box below. Be sure to also check out the extra material that I have added in the description of this video, where you can find more vocabulary and you can expand your knowledge on the subject. Running through the screen, or on the card at the top part of your screen, you can find the next video of this workshop. Enjoy and tune in for the next class. Bye bye, and see you in the next video.